Domestically, we also have to work to strengthen our own capabilities. And the fundamental goal we have is to raise our productivity and strengthen our innovation, because this is the way for us to become more competitive. This is the way to become less reliant on foreign workers. This is the way Singaporeans can earn higher salaries, justify higher salaries. Question is, how do we do this? I think, first of all, we have to attract higher value activities. Bring in good quality investments which will create new opportunities, open new avenues for Singaporeans. So in manufacturing, we're not just assembling components, but doing critical parts, going for R&D, managing supply chains, and overseas factories. In services, we are looking for HQs, regional HQs, global HQs, operating from Singapore, but actually controlling things all over the region. EDB calls these control tower functions because they take advantage of our good workforce, our global connectivity, our business environment, and in Singapore, you can do things you can't do elsewhere. So we have high-quality companies coming to Singapore. You take Infineon Technologies. They started off as Siemens Components, making electronics parts, but now is a regional headquarters for Asia. And recently they invested another big project, 250 million euros, to expand operations, and they're going to establish a global center of excellence for testing here. And they're going to increase the R&D workforce by 50%, from 260 engineers to 390 engineers. So we're not just making things, we're doing the thinking, the research, the planning, the managing, the coordinating, the things where you need brain power, the things where you need a high-quality, world-class workforce. And that's Singapore. Secondly, while we bring in new projects, we have to restructure the economy. Restructure for the future, which means existing companies have to upgrade their operations. Some of the activities which are no longer viable have gradually to be phased out to make way for new activities. It means turnover. New things come in, old ones gradually replace. In this turnover, some layoffs, some retrenchments, even some shutdowns will be unavoidable. We can't help doing this because we cannot just keep on expanding and expanding and expanding. We have to grow and renew and replace and upgrade. And if we don't manage to do that and we run out of space or run out of people and we can't bring in new activities, then the economies will stagnate. And gradually, I think the companies will lose vitality and will die off anyway. And you see this in the unions. SISU, the name of the union hasn't changed. Singapore Industrial and Services Employees Union. But the sort of industries and services has changed. We used to have textile branches. Now I think they've almost disappeared. But you're getting new branches, like Rolls Royce, who make state-of-the-art aircraft engines, the Trent aircraft engines. They're doing it in the Seletar Aerospace Park. It's a facility of the future. I think they already started operation. Next year, we're doing a ceremonial opening in the beginning of the year. So there's something new, but we have to accept that there will be turnover. Some of the old activities have to go. And workers have to understand this, and I think we have to accept this. And to do this, we have to keep our labor market flexible, nimble. That means easy for companies to hire, not hard for companies to restructure. Turnover must be feasible for employers. So we have to be very careful that we don't make our labor rules too rigid, to make it difficult for people to drop workers, to renew, to restructure their operations. Because if we do that, You may protect the jobs of the people who are already there, but you will discourage the companies from hiring new workers, and overall, I think we will lose, and workers will lose. And you see what's happened in India, where they have very restrictive rules. You see what's happened in quite a number of the European countries, where, again, companies don't want to hire because it's so difficult. Once you've hired, you are stuck. That, as a result, very high unemployment, very low growth. And that should not happen in Singapore. The third thing we should do is to upgrade our workforce so that they can fit into a highly skilled, productive, and innovative economy. How well Singapore keeps ourselves up to date boils down to the ability of every single worker, his resilience, his readiness to reskill, his willingness to move, to adapt, go to new companies, new industries, learn new jobs. The government will support this strongly through our efforts in continuing education and training, both for rank-and-file workers, also for PMEs, because this applies across the board. And our objective is to train what we call T-shaped workers. Deep skills, you have the vertical T, but also high adaptability. So you have the horizontal bar, and if you can adapt in many places and fit in many different opportunities. This is something which previous generations of workers have gone through. An adaptation, an adjustment, a change as economic conditions change, as opportunities change. And for this generation of workers, I think we have to have the same resilience, the same attitude, the same willingness to change at a higher level than before, but be willing to adapt so as to earn a better living for ourselves. Ultimately, when we talk about the economy, or about investments and jobs, upgrading, these are all means to an end. And this end is to raise real incomes and to improve the lives of Singaporeans. Last 2 years, we've done well. With strong growth, real incomes have gone up. From June 2010 to June 2011, over 1 year, where we have measured, real median incomes have gone up by 3%, even allowing for inflation. It's a good result, and we must do our best to keep this up. And the best way to push up the real incomes is to improve our productivity, especially by upgrading the quality of our workers and the quality of our jobs. Our target is productivity growth of 2 to 3% sustained over the next 10 years. 2 to 3% productivity growth per year over 10 years. It will add up to a significant amount, and it will translate into a significant increase in wages for workers. Over 10 years until 2009, when we set this target, our productivity grew just above 1% per year. It's positive, but it's not good enough. So we have to do much better, and we have set this target, 2 to 3% productivity growth per year, and we have to meet this ambitious target. And I'm confident that we can do that if we put our full effort into it. 2 to 3% is ambitious. It's higher than most developed countries are able to do, but then we have a lot to catch up on the developed countries. We know that our construction industry productivity is poor. We know that in our service industry we can do much better, and the developed countries are much more efficient. And if we can improve specific industries, specific sectors, skill by skill, job by job, I think we can hit this 2 to 3% level.